Welcome to another episode of Crash Chords Autographs. I, of course, am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon, and before we get into this week's episode, I want to give a shout-out to my supporters on Patreon. I'm talking about Rob, Robert, Robert, MJ, and Case. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. If you, too, listener, want to join the ranks of shout-outs on this podcast and more, you can go to patreon.com/Stormageddon and join for as little as $1 to as much as I believe I have a $500 DJ set available that you can purchase as well. But really, any little bit counts and helps. So thank you. On to the episode that you are listening. This is a Q&A with the incredible band Stabbing Westward that I moderated at Dark Side of the Con 3. I want to thank, first and foremost, VampireFreaks and Jet for giving me this opportunity, as well as the panel coordinator, Julia, who was a guest on a previous episode. Stabbing Westward is a band that I loved growing up and that I'm excited is back together and playing some new music. And I was really stoked to get the chance to moderate this Q&A. Some warnings up front. The audio is a little wonky. For the most part, you can hear the band clearly and the questions being asked, but I was recording while they were on a PA, and so there is a little bit of echoing, but for the most part, it's pretty clear. I'm a little peaky when I ask questions, but for the most part, it is driven by the audience. This is not like a typical interview that I do. This is, again, a Q&A that's mostly perpetuated by the audience members, and I was happy to just be in the room, be a part of it, and help facilitate. So again, this is my Q&A with Stabbing Westward at Dark Side of the Con 3. Please go to vampirefreaks.com and check out their stuff. This goth convention was a blast. I had such a good time, and my next episode in 2 weeks is actually also going to be from the con. I'm looking forward to hopefully going to the fourth one next year. And again, shout out to Jet and VampireFreaks. Thanks. On with the episode.
Hey everybody, what's going on?
Thank you.
I'm good.
Let's act like we're actually excited to be here. Fucking Stabbing Westward. My name is Stormageddon. I'm a panelist at several panels this weekend. I am friends with the panel coordinator, who is amazing, Julia. Shout out Julia. And I'm also a fan of these guys, and when I got offered the opportunity to moderate this, I got very excited. So, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for telling us we had to be.
Hey! Before, I brought questions, but, if you guys have questions, let's take your questions. Does anyone have any questions?
Why are you up this early?
Right? If you all were at the concert last night.
How do you not all explode in the sunlight?
You have a question.
Yes, how did you come up with the name Stabbing Westward?
Good question.
Okay, well, you would think, yeah, that's actually a good idea. Who's got a thought? Cause I need a good reason why, because we really don't have a good reason why.
There was a list.
We needed a name. We had a show in 2 weeks' time, and we didn't really have a name for the band. So we were at the college radio station making a list, looking at albums, and we were at Western Illinois University.
I had a list that I got I was into fantasy novels at the time, and I was reading The Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, the Unbeliever, and I had made a list of funny names from that book, like Revelstone, and all these really stupid names, and they looked really cool when I wrote them down, and then I showed them to you, and you're like, that is fucking retarded, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? Because you don't read fantasy novels,
yeah.
But... Go ahead.
But all right, so then we did have a list.
We did. Most of them sucked.
I can only remember two. One we used, and we went with Stabbing Westward because it's a small town in the middle of Illinois, and nobody really understood the kind of music that we were doing, and we thought.
And I wanted to stab everybody in the face.
We thought, what a funny play on. Well, it wasn't very funny, but an interesting play on words.
And so for the next 25 years. We would walk up to people and they'd be like, "Are you guys in a band?" "Yeah, what band?" "Stabbing Westward." "Stubbing what?" It's literally, our guitar tech has a video of 1,000 people going, "Stabbing what?" It's It was the worst. I think that we would have been a far more successful band.
If I had known that we'd still have the name 30 years on.
I would have gone with Nickelback. It was literally on the list.
Hadn't been used at the time.
It was on the list.
You shouldn't have left that list wherever you put it.
Fuckers went to the radio station, pulled it out.
So basically we just went with that because of proximity with Western Illinois University
And we hated them.
yes, so.
What was the other name?
Revelstone. Awful. He's like, what are we, the Flintstones? I'm like, no, that's not what
They're
it's...
rebellious. They're rebellious.
We were actually thinking also that because we lived in Corn, it would be really cool to get to California, which meant we had to stab westward like the pioneers. And so that was... And we made it to California. And Disneyland was closed.
The news shouldn't have told you.
Other questions? Yeah.
So I kind of thought of this today. I don't know. At first, I think you shared it on Facebook a couple months ago. You probably not gonna remember.
I don't do
But
Facebook.
about the story behind the font on Wither Blister Running Keel, about how it's actually the guy who came up with it actually did it in blood. Whoever posted that, but my question really was just going to be: is there any other
have no idea what he's talking
about.
interesting stories or
I don't-
artwork and stuff came from that you can tell us about? Besides that,
You mean the feces story?
No. The Jim Marcus from Diverside did that logo, and he did an expose on Facebook about how he created it, where he used his own blood,
Really?
and that's why that's why it has that lottery looking. Because he couldn't create the look he was looking for until he tried that, and he posted. I didn't know the story either until he posted it.
I think this might be an exaggeration.
It's a cool exaggeration.
It
It's
is
a good story. Even if you made it up, it's a good story.
So that's where. So he posted it, and then I reposted.
Did he use like a feather quill?
Probably.
my question was like, is there any other stories like that about the artwork of any of the albums, or how you conceptualize anything?
Darkest Days was designed by Dave McKean, who is the artist who does all the Sandman comic books, and he's like one of my Golden God heroes. And he did all the artwork, and other than making one of the statues an anatomically correct representation of our drummer, which freaked us all out, it was amazing. And it's like, it was the first time anyone had ever done artwork for us. We were just like, yes. All the other ones were like, what if you did this? And, cause I'm super anal about that kind of stuff. But on that one, I was just like, yeah, other than the drummer being the head, that's just kind of weird. But other than that, it was awesome. And then we got to meet him, and he did like a gallery exhibit of all the pieces, all of his pieces from Sandman, and our pieces were there, like 8 foot by 8 foot, and that was a big deal for me. Because I'm a huge Sandman comic guy. So, are we at Comic-Con?
Other questions? Anybody? Yes, you.
99, I think you played at Grammar, the Bowery with Placebo.
Mm-hmm.
And
Flick.
David Bowie came out.
Yes, he
That
did.
was at Irving Plaza.
Who wants to tell that
I was
story?
curious, like, did you guys talk to
Oh,
him? Was the
boy, do we have a story.
He actually asked him if he would please not come the next night.
It's a great honor to have you open for us, Mr. Bowie, but if you could not come tomorrow night to the second night, that would be awesome. Because how the fuck do you follow David Bowie?
And to get to, because he did a track with Placebo, and so that's kind of how that marriage came about. But
There's such a better story.
to get to their dressing room, you would have to walk through our dressing room,
Yeah.
and it
No,
was
to get to the stage.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Or to go from the balcony area.
Yeah,
to get
so from here to go to the stage, you have to go through the headliner's dressing room and then go down the stairs to the stage. And it was their last song, which means we're on next, so we're changing our clothes. And knock on the door. Come in. Sir David Bowie walks in with his unbelievably gorgeous 7-foot tall wife. And our bass player is trouserless at the moment. And what did David Bowie say? I can't remember.
Shoot, I don't remember.
It was something like,
It
it was complimentary.
Yeah, he was super nice and accommodating and
It
everything.
was the very nice English
There was definitely a glance down to the penis. Our bass player Jim is very blessed in that area. And if it had been me, it'd been the George Costanza Cold Water, Seinfeld sort of, the water was cold, I was in the water, but it wasn't. It was like, nice penis, sir, well, thank you. And then the Please Do Not Come Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
And I think
If I could redo that moment.
you would have said something better?
No. Still
Just
an
want to do
asshole.
it again?
Just do it
Yeah,
again?
just
I want to
do
tell
it
David
Bowie
Bowie
something
not to
better.
show up 2 times.
Yeah.
No, really, I mean it. Don't come tomorrow.
It was interesting having David Bowie just have to cut through your dressing room. Like, he did it like 3 times that
Yeah,
night.
so were you at the show?
Jarring.
I mean, the energy was pretty intense that day. I thought.
Crowd thinned out after Bowie left. Just kidding.
I left.
I can't follow this.
Questions? Anybody? Questions?
Why are we wearing so many antlers?
Yeah, there's several, right? What's that about?
I like it.
Back there.
So, of the albums released under the Stabbing Westward
Moniker?
what
Yes.
was your favorite album to work on, or your favorite album personally?
Ungod.
I think Ungod stands the test of time the best out of all of them, personally. But I have a very close affection with Darkest Days as well.
Yeah, I think when we did Ungod, we hadn't been through the meat grinder of corporate music, and we thought that getting a record deal meant that you had succeeded. So we went into it with this sort of blind, naive, let's just make some art, crazy passion. And we had this insane guitar player named Stuart Zeckman, who was a genius and a madman, true in both sense. And he injected a level of musicality into that album that we were never able to follow up on. Now, granted, we wrote more pop songs after that, or songs with that got on the radio, more hooks, stuff like that. But there was never that degree of emotional and musical intensity that we got on the first one, because we just didn't fucking care. We just wanted to make art. And on the second one, because Nothing wasn't a big hit, it was like a medium-sized, not quite hit. The record label really wanted us to have something on K-Rock, on Q101, on the alternative radio stations, because those were just really starting to happen. And there's no reason we couldn't, sort of make that happen if we had the right song. And we didn't try and write songs on Wither to do that, but because the mad genius had left and been replaced with our drummer, who was a really good kind of pop songwriter. His style was What Do I Have to Do? Sometimes It Hurts was Andy's writing style. And he came up with What Do I Have to Do before he was in Stabbing Westward. And he played it for me, and I'm like, dude, that's a great song. If we could just give it some testicles and a little bit of chest hair, I think we could do something with it. And so we toughened it up a bit, made it a bit less Erasure and a bit more Depeche. And yeah, it got on the radio, and while that was a huge life-changing moment for us, it also set us on a path of constantly trying to one-up that accidental mistake. And so the feeling that we had on that first album of not giving a shit never existed again. It was always in the back of your mind, at least 2 of these songs have to be good enough to get on the radio. And granted, on Darkest Days, by loading it with 16, we were able to have a bunch.
Our odds were better.
Yeah, our odds were better. And honestly, Save Yourself was not written as a hit. It was just written as a really cool song that I think was a hit because of that.
Well, I'll disagree with you, because when I was working on that, I kind of knew that I felt that that was a single.
Okay.
Now the label didn't. They said we didn't have any singles.
They're like, so let me get this straight. You're telling your fans that you can't help them and that they should go fuck themselves. I'm like, no. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying we're all in it together. That I have no answers. You have to find it inside yourself. So you're saying that they're fucked and that they should go fuck themselves is what you're saying. That's what Donnie Einer kept saying to me. And I'm like, no, man, I'm trying. It's a song of empowerment. He goes, it sounds like you're giving up responsibility and just like, I'm not fucking responsible for these people. Oh my God, you should see the mail I get. My dad raped me. I want to kill myself. Can you help me? I'm like, do you want me to kill your dad? What do you want me to do? I don't know. I'm not the equalizer. I'm not Denzel Washington. I don't know what we're doing here. So that's what I was getting, and I was a very young, immature child at the time, and people thought, oh, he writes these deep songs, he has all the answers. I'm like, no, I'm complaining in all of them. I'm not like ever saying, what were we talking about? What was your question?
It became the most listened to song that we
ever
released,
in the world
that we released.
Okay.
I actually have a follow-up question for you guys. Based on that and talking about the difference between your writing styles, what do you feel your writing style is like now? Because you're saying you're not coming from that immature place anymore. Like, is it grown? What is it about? Where's the focus?
Whoops.
It's still immature, but older.
That's good.
No, I definitely feel like we are putting out a new record this year. We have a bunch of songs written.
Yes.
After Stabbing split up, I spent the next 10 years writing songs in another band, and I didn't have a Walter by my side to carry the burden of writing all the music, so I had to do it myself, and it taught me a ton. Like, the first record was like, and then the second record got better, and the third, and then he came on the third one, and it got really good really fast. But it taught me the things that I was doing as a singer when I was but other people wrote music and I would write vocals on top of it. Suddenly I had to write the whole thing. And so that gave me a fresh perspective. And I think bringing that to the table and then injecting, yeah, that's the word I was going to go with, re-injecting his style into it, I think has made it more than it was. And we don't care. We're back to not caring.
That's really kind of it, because I don't think we're looking to be on the radio.
No,
I mean, that's not the focus anymore. Our livelihood doesn't depend upon having that kind of success. So now we're kind of free to kind of do the sounds that we want to do.
Yeah, I think when we originally started the band, go ahead, Mark.
I was just gonna.
Okay.
I was gonna say something like I was gonna be a jackass, like I usually am, but so it's not important. You go ahead.
I think when we started the band, it was me and Walter, and then a guitar player. We didn't have a drummer. We were pure industrial. We had a metal swing set on stage with bent metal on it, and we would beat on it with sticks facing each other, kind of marching band style, where we'd be facing each other on the other side of the stuff and be playing multi-percussion stuff over the top of tracks running on a 4-track cassette, which one time I dropped the cassette behind the bass amp while we were in the middle of a show, and I had to switch it. I'm like, how the fuck do I can't even see. It's pitch dark. There's a curtain. I think it went under the riser. I'm like, going, I don't know.
We can't do that song.
We can't do that song. So our roots, long ago, were wax tracks. We're Ministry, Twitch, early Ministry, Depeche Mode. When 9 Inch Nails came out, we were like, fuck, that's exactly what we were doing. And it's really good. Yeah. I was like, fuck, that is exactly what we were doing, but much better. What?
He did it better.
No. I'm just kidding. Pretty Hit Machine was better than what we were doing at the time. But, and as our career path took us, we became more of a rock band. We became more of a band that was drums, bass, guitar with synths and tracks going on in the background, but that really started to take over. We had songs in the middle part of our career that sounded more like Bush than 9 Inch Nails, that were just straight up grunge tracks. And I think now he and I are like, you know what, much to Mark's chagrin, we're like, I want to go back to being really, really electronic and being those guys again.
Totally cool with that.
It's like I can drink.
No guitar on this track? Awesome.
Going to the bar.
All right, question there.
So with your discography, which song has the most sentiment to you as individuals?
On Your Way Down. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Actually, I thought that was a really bitter, angry track. That I would say Waking Up Beside You, because I wrote that when I was going through a divorce, the lyrics. And I actually got my divorce while we were on tour and playing in Chicago that day, and I had to go to the courthouse that morning in front of the judge, get the divorce, and then go do an acoustic show at Q101, and then play a show at a big theater, Aragon? Riviera? Riv, yeah, that night. And when I sang that song, I lost my shit. Like that was like, sometimes you write something that hits so close to home, and then the moment intersects and it's actually hard to sing. So that one for me, I think. What's for you?
Waking Up. But the way he and I worked in the past, and I guess to some degree sometimes we still do, and every song's different, but songs like Save Yourself and Waking Up, I kind of craft the song and then hand it to him, and then he makes magic happen. And
what am I supposed to do with this?
that's what 90% of the time we get that, but then the other times we get Save Yourself and Waking Up, but just music from the music side, the instruments. It's like I was in a place and I just felt that the passion was really in that song. It just everything came together.
I like how that one grows.
Yeah,
it starts really small and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I like that.
Mark, go.
Actually, on your way down, actually, because I didn't write the lyrics, obviously. It was a part of the recording process, and I had never been a part of that before. And we were tracking guitars, and I'm standing in a control room that was about as bright as this. I've got 3 people on computers behind me talking about, trying to do some other track. I've got the producer talking on the fucking phone to somebody.
Heroin.
And I'm standing there trying to track. There's just no vibe at all.
Right.
And I got super fucking angry and was like, get me headphones and get me out in the room with the speakers. I want to make some racket. And so the awful sounding guitar solo section in that song was me fucking super angry in a room with amps loud enough that there were like 6 guitar cabinets all on. And it was just tearing my fucking head off.
I'm surprised you had a kid.
It took a while.
To replenish.
Yeah. But that section of that song was me just super pissed off and wanting to express myself. That's why it sounds so awful.
Do you prefer the way that the music industry is today or versus how it was back when you started?
Say what?
Do you prefer like the way that the music industry has kind of like individualized itself and it's not really about record companies so much anymore versus how it was back when you started?
That's a really great question. I think it's definitely very different. There's a lot more freedom and ability for people to make music and release music. It's
some of it terrible.
Sadly, that can be part of the problem. Is that now that anybody can do it, people do, and I feel like the quality bar has been lowered to a degree.
And I think the cheaper it gets to record music, the fact that like I can record in my bedroom, I think that's liberating. It makes it so that people who didn't have access to $500,000 studios can make music. But at the same time, when you're going to go into a $500,000 studio and make a record, you've sort of double checked that the songs are good.
Yeah.
You've had multiple filters of producers and people that are like, okay, these are 10 good songs or 3, and we'll give you the money to do it. When you're doing it on your own, you could pretty much polish a turd for a year and just come with shit on your hands and just like it's still a turd, but you were able to do it, and now it's on Spotify and I have to listen to it. Even if it's 8 bars before I hit skip, and you only get 2 skips an hour, so it's like, how many turds do I need to skip? And then the fucking ads start, it's like, yeah. But at the same time, we don't want to be on a label. Oh, I shouldn't say that. We don't really want to be on a label in Stabbing Westward. We want to just be able to make our own records and get them to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing is that now, because of technology, is that you can
make vinyl.
You can, right, now we are our own label. But you can, it's easy to release a song. You just do it, you put it out there, you can do another one next week, and you stay in people's, forefront of their mind, and so it's a kind of a catch-22. There's good things and bad things to the way it's evolved, and it'll continue to evolve.
Walter is a music director at an alternative radio station in Chicago, so he's very much an expert on this thing. If you have any questions about Ninjago or how to raise a 3-year-old really badly, that would be me.
I have no skills.
Lloyd is the green ninja. I just want to...
Additional questions? Anybody? Yes, right here in front.
I know we briefly spoke about Snow Oasis concert.
Yes.
That concert stood out to me. And also
because all the other people were wimps and they could only play one song, and then they, I'm Noel Gallagher and I'm cold. I'm going to leave now.
Another show that stood out to me, and proud to say I was up against around like 80,000 people at RFK Stadium.
Where I broke my nose.
Where they threw a phone.
Yeah.
A cell phone.
HF Festival.
Was there any other shows like is there anything like that immediately stands out to you? Like in all the years?
Those are really two really good ones.
Yeah, getting your nose broken and then hugged by Dave Grohl is a pretty big moment.
That's great.
I can't believe I was able to hit you with that phone.
I think it looked like it came from a...
Yeah, so if you didn't know the story, we were playing at RFK, this huge stadium, and it was a shit show the entire day. Like, everybody in the audience was throwing money, phones, boots. Like, people were crowd surfing, and people were like, why would you throw your phone? You wouldn't throw your phone. You throw the asshole who crowd surfed and dropped his phone. You throw that phone. So people were like pulling the shoes off of people, and then they thought it was funny to throw it at the bands. And so bands were playing 3 or 4 songs and then getting pissed off and walking off the stage, because how many times you get hit with a fucking shoe before you're like, fuck it, this is not worth it. I sing with my eyes closed generally, and I was doing the whole show like a fucking ninja, eyes open, just dodging and swatting shit out of the air, and I'm like, fuck you, I'm gonna do the whole show. And then Shame was the last song, and there's a part where I hit a really long note at the end, and I closed my eyes. And I really sank into it.
Arms out.
Arms out, fucking full Creed moment. Helicopter. And they had big screens. They had giant big screens to show the people in the nosebleed, and they were zoomed in on my face, and all of a sudden this Nokia logo comes through. And it hit me right here, and it hit like here, and then it hit the microphone, so the microphone punched me in the mouth too. And you could hear it through the PA, like what was that?
And you didn't stop singing.
My head went like that, and my teeth hit the mic again, and then I kept singing. I just like kind of shook it off and kept singing, and apparently it bled horrifically. It got me right on the bridge of the nose and broke it, and it bled like Walking Dead bled. It was really cool. And I kind of shook my head, and I've seen the video in slow. It's like blood sprays, and then my shirt's all bloody. And I finish singing, I say, fuck you, good night, and we walk off. And then Dave Grohl runs out, and he's like, you're my fucking hero. And I'm like, you're gonna write a song about that someday.
Good. That was good.
Thank you.
All right, guys. What kind of,
This was in 2001 after the song already.
yeah, I wasn't gonna check. Was it?
Damn.
I wasn't gonna date check that.
Sorry.
But, you know.
He did say you're my hero though, and that made me feel really good.
How could it not?
No, that wasn't pre 9/11. I don't think so.
No, that was
No, it was
that was
2000 it was.
I want to say 2002.
No, we broke up.
It was 2001. Yeah, 2001.
It's all kind of hazy.
That record had only been out for like 5 years at that point.
What, really? That one?
Mike.
Oh, okay. I thought he wrote that for the firefighters of 9/11.
In the front?
Or is that a country song?
I forgot to ask last one.
Like your shirt.
Yeah, keep it.
Thanks. I mean, after all these years, you guys are quiet, and you're working with the Dreaming, Walter with the radio. Mark, I'm sorry, I don't know what you were doing.
I have no skills.
He sets up video presentations for courts.
Not anymore.
No? What are you doing now? Are you a bail bondsman?
Sit down, everybody. I'm a network engineer.
Hero to the people.
Which I need every night when I set up our projector. Dude, it's doing that thing again.
Mark, help me with the projector.
Like if you look at his text messages, the only time I text message him is at 4:30 on a Friday or Saturday. Mark, I need help with the projector. He has like 100 of them.
Repeat.
After all this time. Like,
You had a question?
Yeah. After all this time, you guys had this break. What kind of sparked everything to kind of come back together?
My dad died. Oh, I didn't like him. Yeah, my dad died, and I flew back to Illinois to go to his funeral, and he showed up in a suit. Fucking weird. And I hadn't seen him in 10 years, and we had some bad blood between us because of a couple of misunderstandings and a cat. I don't know. And made that up. And
You guys have something to talk about?
and we went out drinking and had some food and talked, and the next day we're like, dude, we have to like make some music together, and we wrote alone the next that week.
Yeah. Well, actually, we kind of wrote it
there. You played me a piece of music, and I'm like, I have lyrics that will fit perfect over that.
We actually had written the song about the same time, shortly after the band broke up, I think, right?
Alone?
Yeah. When did you write the lyrics to that?
I thought it was after that.
Anyway.
Okay.
We wrote.
That was Fly Away.
We wrote the same song but without knowing the other person wrote
Right.
that half. And
He
so
wrote the music, I wrote
when we
the
put
words.
these two pieces together, it was like, oh my god, that's worked really well. It's just kind of like the things that we've done in the past, like waking up and say yourself. But it was one of those things where him reaching out, saying, my dad died.
Did I reach out to you?
You did.
Oh. I thought you just showed up. Really?
Yeah, no, you reached out.
Oh, that's cool.
And you're like, I'm coming to Illinois, my dad died, I'm coming to Illinois, do you want to grab a coffee?
I thought you just showed up.
No, you said.
Oh, I thought so highly of you.
But that...
All right, that's it. It's over.
I'm not. And then, so we did the Dreaming together, and we thought, well, we can't really do Stabbing Westward. We didn't know why, we just thought that. And then we played Chicago, and we said, hey, Mark, you want to come?
I showed up.
with the guitar. Like, what the fuck, dude?
What is he doing here?
No, and we're like, hey, do you want to get up and play some stabbing songs at the end of the set? And so we, normally we would pepper stabbing songs in the Dreaming set because we know that's the only thing people come for. And it's like if you spread them out, then you can get them to listen to your other songs. But we put them all at the end, and when Mark got up and played with us, it just felt so correct. And so then we got an offer from Cold Waves to do one show as Stabbing Westward. And we're like, you know what, let's just do it. It's a charity, so maybe no one will be mad. And we did it, and no one was mad. And then we quietly did a Halloween show, and no one got mad. And I just kept waiting for like an email or a Facebook message or something from a really irate former member, and it just never happened. And then one day we played Cleveland, and our old drum tech was like, hey, Andy says hi. We're like, oh. Okay, so he knows we're doing it, and he says hi. Cool, that's kind of like blessing. So yeah, so now we're just doing it, and we're talking to you. What was the question?
It doesn't matter at this point. The adventure was way more fun than the starting point. Any more questions, guys? In the back. You're gonna have to get loud or come closer.
That's all right.
Oh. All right.
I wanted to thank you guys.
That's not a question.
Correct, it's not a question.
My life was filled with a lot of turmoil and through a lot of abuse, bad relationships, deployments to Iraq. You guys got me through every single moment of that.
Every time that I hear people say that they took us with them overseas, I just have to say thank you for your service. It means it's so awesome for us to know that we were there for you when you were there for us, and that's super fucking cool. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Like the worst parts of my life, and you guys have got me through it.
No crying. Don't make me cry, man.
The time I cried is when I got to the end of your last album, and then it was over.
I cried when I got to the beginning of the last album. I cry every time I think about that pile of shit. But okay, we don't have to talk about that.
Not that magic. Very positive impact in your life. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Still not a question, but thank you.
Dude, thanks.
Other questions? Yes, sir.
So earlier you had mentioned about with doing Alone and that, which I thought had a kind of very Un-God feel. Are you trying to go back more towards like Un-God?
No, Un-God was like Stewart, I mean, 50% of Un-God was written by Stewart and his like musical style. And he was a guitarist and a bassist, so his style of writing was even more rock than, he was the bass player for Filter before they did Hey Man, Nice Shot. That's why Un-God and What?
I wanted to ask about it, but I let it go.
No, it's pretty common knowledge. Him and Rich wrote that song together, and when they split up, they didn't know that the other person was going to use it. So Rich and I are cool about it. He won. Fucking platinum record, Fine, I think it's a great song. I think he did much better vocals. My vocals are more gut-wrenching, I think, as far as emotional, but his are like, have a visceral impact. So like we wrote two completely different songs that just happen to have the same guitar riff and bass line and melody. But other than that,
and gated stuff.
But no, I don't think we're going back to Un-God. We're going forward. We're trying not to go back, but we're definitely digging into our industrial roots a great degree. A lot of electronic stuff. Just simply because I don't have a drum kit set up in my house, so,
And I have no skills.
You do have skills.
I actually had a vocals question.
Okay.
Your voice seems more or less unchanged over the years. Do you have a special way that you like kind of keep?
No, that's just my voice.
That's just you just take terrible care of it and it works out.
It's just my voice. It's just how it sounds. It's nothing. Yeah, it's just like that must hurt. No, it really doesn't. That's just how it comes out of my head, just like that.
Awesome. All right.
My speaking voice is the one that's weird. Yeah, it doesn't. When I talk, it doesn't sound like me at all.
More questions? Anybody? Yes.
Okay, so the gentleman in the back said that he carried you with him when he went through things in life.
He meant on a CD or something.
Like
I
not the
was not in his backpack.
They weren't with him.
He didn't have one of those Baby Bjorn.
Is that 5 guys in your backpack, sir?
That band's really slowing you down.
He wins. He wins the Q&A.
Good job, John.
Oh my God. Was there a question?
So throughout your lives, what musicians or albums have carried you through things, something that you keep circling back to or something that you go to when you are going through something? Like what has been something that helped you?
Rock You Like a Hurricane by the Scorpions.
Every day before the show, he locks himself in the bathroom with a Bluetooth speaker. Rock You Like a...
The bitch is hungry. She needs to tell, so give her inches and feed her well.
Are those the lyrics?
Fucking awful. So bad. She's licking her lips. She's ready to win on the hunt tonight for love at first.
Sting?
Sting? Yeah.
Do I hear a cover coming up?
No. I used to be a ginormous Cure fan. That was my go-to, Head on the Door, Pornography. The other one that starts with a D that I cannot seem to... Disintegration. But over the last couple of years, I have grown a unbelievably deep appreciation for Depeche Mode, as far as like the depth of their songwriting and the just sheer numbers of amazing songs that they have. I think that they're probably my favorite after the Scorpions. Walter?
Oh, it's like I always go back to my Ministry collection. I mean, it's just I mean, different eras, different albums have different emotions and sounds, and so it's like that's always been my go-to.
I stop at Mine Is a Terrible Thing to Taste. After that, I'm just kind of like, yeah.
Were there other records after that?
Yeah, exactly. See, I mean, with Depeche, it just keeps going. You know, it's like every record, there's a couple of really good songs on it. Mark, Jawbox, Failure.
What? Depeche and The Cure, for sure. I'm a big Catherine Wheel fan, too. I find myself going back to them all the time.
What's the band that does at the gay bar?
Electric Six? Yeah,
Electric
also
Six.
big influence.
Oh, I'm going to be doing that all day now.
Yeah, you're going to be singing that to yourself the whole...
No, not to myself.
To everyone else?
And
Just gonna sing to random people.
Just kind of doing the dance move in your head. We're a very serious band.
Clearly. Right here in front.
Is there any new industrial bands that you've enjoyed touring with?
Are there?
Listening to? Or anybody that's here like this weekend?
Steven Archer is awesome.
Yeah.
I do not do Facebook, but I sometimes go to his page and watch him just make weird shit. And I'm like, I told him that today. I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking copy and paste that and write vocals over it, because you're just making crazy shit that never repeats. And you could just take any minute and a half of it and make it a great song. And he's really cool. Joe Letts is here. He's a drummer from Combi Christ. He's a great drummer. Are there any industrial bands? I think when you get old, you stop listening to new stuff because it's just too hard. It's too much work. And I got invested in Linkin Park, and then that ended badly. So it's like, you know. Yeah, I think Linkin Park was the last band that I really, new band that I really, really liked. And Taylor Swift.
I think you're not.
Walter?
Yes, Antlers.
Yeah,
I know her name, I just wanted to call her Antlers.
She's a forest nymph, man, come on.
It's better than being called Bubbles, I guess. So this is a music industry question. When working with the suits in the music industry, has there been a point in your careers where you were ready to say, fuck this, I'm out?
Can I tell this one?
Which time? Which one?
When we recorded Darkest Days, we finished and we sent it to our record label. And the president of Columbia is a gigantic Italian mobster named Donnie Einer. And he is scary as fuck. He's a big, scary, intimidating guy.
We're in New Jersey, don't say much.
It is what it is. The first time I met him, he took me in his office and he played me Alice in Chains' Rooster. No one had heard it yet, and he played it fucking brain-numbingly loud on this like $8 million stereo in his office. And I had to sit there and look excited because he was so excited, and it was really good, but I was just like, oh my god, my ears are bleeding, why are we doing this?
He turns around too. He'll put it on and turn. You can't wave him off.
No, he's like rocking
listen
with
to the whole fucking song, and he's like just
his back like a billboard.
You can't go through the whole thing.
Yeah. So after we recorded Darkest Days, I get a call from my manager, and she says, Donnie thinks the record is too long. A record should have 10 songs, no more than 10 songs. Nobody wants to listen to 16 songs. It's too much. It's too much to ask of people. I'm like, does it cost more to put on the CD? What's the problem? I'm like, no.
We actually only get paid on 10 songs.
Yeah, we only get paid on 10 songs. So we wrote a whole extra 6 songs. And he said, I've listened to the album 10 times. There's a bunch of filler. I think we should cut it down to 10 songs. Don't shake your head. And I agree with him, to be honest with you. And so we began this week-long process of going back and forth and cutting 6 songs. And it's not like you could just cut the 6 songs that weren't the best or the 6 slowest or anything like that, because there were songs that Andy had written, there were songs that Walter had written, there were songs that Walter and I had written, there's a couple of songs that I had written, and everyone, this is at a weird stage in our career where we weren't getting along very well at all. When we did Wither, we were a team. When we did when we did Darkest Days, we were starting to become camps, like these weird, I think it happens with a lot of bands. So I had to gently negotiate with each person in the band to get them to give up a song or 2 in order to whittle it down to 10 songs. And then I compared that list with Donnie's list, and then we made some compromises, and we finally came to a compromise. And Andy, the drummer, said, no, I want to do the whole album. And I said, well, the guy who's paying it doesn't want to do the whole album, and he's going to be the person who gets behind the record and pushes the record. And our manager thought that it would be a good idea to put Andy on the phone with Donnie Einer. You guys don't know Andy, but he doesn't change his mind. He's one of the most stubborn. It's not just stubborn. When he believes he's right about something, then he's right, and he doesn't want to compromise on it. And I respect that to a great degree, unless you're dealing with suits, and they control his purse strings, and then you're fighting a war you can't win, and you end up on Koch Records and dropped very soon after. But they put Andy on the phone with Donnie Einer, and Donnie explained to him why it should be 10 songs long, and I believe Andy's response was, fuck you, fuck Sony, and no. And they put out the whole Darkest Days, and then we got dropped a little while later. So yeah, we fought a battle and lost. But
they're a record label, and it's their money, so they want to sell the product, so they put out a record, they get behind it, they do a lot of press, they support the record. And that record was just, they put it on the boat, pushed it out into the world. And
Save Yourself saved that record, literally.
Yeah.
Save Yourself taken off on radio is the only thing that kept that record afloat.
It did, it ended up going gold despite us getting sort of left in the lurch, but they did not support the record at all. So
and we were not on Columbia for the 4th record.
I think it was a pretty easy decision when it was time to drop bands, and they're like, oh yeah,
these guys
press that one off.
So yeah, we fought the law and the law won.
Sounds like a good song title. We also, wasn't there a point too where we it was talked about that we would drop 2 songs. So then it was after the whole 10-song negotiation. Then we were going to drop 2 songs, and then we fought again. And after we were also told that we didn't have any singles, we fought again, picked 2 songs, went back to Donnie and said we're going to drop these 2, and he said no, those are your singles.
Yeah, because you wanted to drop Sometimes It Hurts and Haunting Me or something like that, which is like, which like you can't.
Yes, I did. And I wouldn't have to play them anymore. Whoops.
More questions? Anybody? Right there.
I'm a little hoarse. Speaking of not wanting to play anything anymore, are there songs, the ones that all the people...
Sometimes It Hurts.
Is there any other that you're just tired of doing?
The ones we don't play. No. What do I have to do? I'm sorry. What do I have to do? Save Yourself, Shame. All the singles, I still enjoy all of them because we're not playing the songs for us. We're playing them for you. And so, we were doing the whole Darkest Days album for the last year, and 10% of the fans liked it. The 90% of the fans who were sort of like, oh, I remember Stabbing Westward. They're like, when are they going to play a song we know? Because it really only had a couple of singles on it. And if you play the whole thing, it's fucking 16 songs long. So it's like an hour, and Save Yourself is the 3rd song. Right. So you hear the hit
it's an early
15 minutes in, and everyone's like out. So you have to find. So now we didn't do that last night. We kind of mixed up the songs and spread the singles out. So it's like we're aware that it's not about us. It's about you. It's about the fans coming to and enjoy the show and keeping them engaged. So we play what you want to hear. We're not Radiohead. We're not ever going to play Creep again. Why? It's your best fucking song. It's the only one with a chorus, No, we play all of them. Some of them are not fun live. Some of them don't translate well live. Like Crushing Me is a really cool song, but when you play it live, you're like, wow, I've said the same thing 6 times in a row. And there's just songs that you think are going to be awesome. Why is one of those songs where we keep trying to figure out how to play it live, and it just always feels like you're like waist deep in tar and trying to walk with through really thick mud or something. And if we could find ways to do it, but I think the set we have now, we will play forever. Just these songs forever. Until we all turn to dust.
We'll write new ones to add to it.
They don't want to hear new songs. It's work. Do you guys want to hear new songs? You guys want to hear new songs? I can play one on my phone. But we played a new song at Cold Waves Festival, and we thought everyone was going to be super fucking excited. I said, you guys want to hear a new song? Yeah! And then we start playing it, and as soon as you get halfway in, everyone's like,
I got a message.
Everyone's on Facebook, and you're like, oh, you don't know this song, so therefore you're not into it, but if you paid attention, maybe you'd know the chorus the 2nd time it happens, or the 3rd time it happens, But I realized in that moment that we're no longer in an age where people have the patience to listen to new music literally on the spot. So what you have to do is, Walter's right, if we release new music, we need to get it on Spotify, we need to get it on Pandora, on MySpace, and
it'll be the only thing there.
Yeah, because except for your picture looking fucking sexy in the bus, I saw that. This is me and these are my balls right here. If we could get it to you early enough that you know it, and then you come to the show and we say, we're going to play this, go home and do some homework, okay? Don't fucking turn your phone on. I'd like to hijack everyone's phone at shows and turn it into strobe lights so that if you look at it, it just starts strobing and you light up like a strobe light, and so I can go, asshole, put your phone away. Because this gets really old. Actually, trying to sing to someone who's literally going like that, and you're like, I'm right here, I'm spitting on you, put your phone down, you could fucking touch me, I'm not that big, I'm right here.
That happened last night.
Oh my God,
I was standing towards the back, and I was watching you guys, and then someone in front of me pulled out their phone, which you want to grab a quick picture, fine, but holding it, and I'm like, I'm trying to watch, and if I
when are you going to watch that video?
Right?
Ever, you are literally there. Watch the show. It's not going to sound good later. It's going to sound like shit later. You thought I sang good? Wait till you go back and listen to it. It was all out of tune. We were drunk. So it's it's so good in the moment. And then you go back and it sounds like... And and I'm this big, and I look much fatter on the phone than I did in person. It's like, just watch the show. Drives me fucking nuts.
I've literally just crept up on somebody who's in the front row with their phone and just put my crotch right in their face. I saw the dude literally just go like, and then he's like, this guy is putting his.
It's funny. It's so frustrating.
More questions. We got time for a few more. Anybody?
What if we only had fax machines and people brought their fax machine to the show?
And they made that annoying like dial-up sound every time? Yes.
I'm gonna Xerox my boobs and send them to you. Fax machine. You never got fax boobs? My girlfriend used to fax me boobs all the time at truck stops. Stick her boobs on a fax machine, fax it to the truck stop, and then my girlfriends were generally at truck stops, yeah. But that was the thing. So she would fax her boobs in the office, and I'd say, I'm at a truck stop, and she'd send me a fax of her boobs, and it'd be like this squishy black Xerox thing. And I'd have, fresh, it's a thing, it was a thing.
I didn't know that hearing the phrase, she used to put her boobs on the fax machine would make me laugh so hard.
Right here in the front row, you had a question?
Where do you go? Now, just let us talk.
How do you follow that?
I was going to talk about kids, but like...
Go, yeah.
That's what boobs on the fax machine leads to.
I would never have kids with a woman who sent her boobs to a truck stop. You know they copy that shit. Okay, go ahead.
She forgot her question.
She forgot her question. I have one. Does having kids change how you write music?
That was it.
I got you. That's what I'm here for. I'm a professional.
Baby shark, I do preschool music class. So I go to my kids' preschool and I run around with an ukulele and sing Wheels on the Bus, Baby Shark. When I get the runaway thing, I jump up and start running, and it's a Chinese preschool, and the Chinese teacher's like, no, and all the kids start chasing me in a giant circle and it becomes like a mosh pit, and the teacher's like freaking the fuck out, like, no, sit in your chest, but in Chinese, which I don't speak very well. Yes, of course it changes. I don't swear nearly as much.
You haven't stopped, just not as much.
Yeah, just not as much. But no, I don't think it's changed the way we write. I don't think so. No.
I was thinking more of like your stage presence. Like even last night, there was a little kid there that you were interacting with.
That was our merch guy's little girl who loves Save Yourself, and I was
Do you see yourself doing that more like now than like years ago? Like, why the hell is this kid at my show? Like,
Walter had kids when we were famous. Back in the glory days when I didn't do this. It's a joke.
Ouch.
Walter had kids when we were touring with Depeche Mode, and he used to bring them out on stage.
That was damaging, so don't do that.
I'll tell you, having kids and being old changes what happens. Well, not what happens, but...
We have kids the same age, and I'm 12 years older than him, so shut up, whiny bitch.
we played a radio festival last year or the year before, which was interesting. I hadn't considered it until we walked out on stage, but we walked out and started playing to a sea of 17-year-old kids who were like, fucking uncles
I'm jumping in.
are on stage, right? Who the fuck are these guys? And then it dawned on me, we don't have anything on the radio.
These guys
They have no fucking idea who we are.
These guys were so excited because it was for Walter's alternative radio station. We're like, we're going to play on the main stage at the Q101 picnic. It's going to be huge. There's going to be like 20,000 people. And I said, and not a single one will have a fucking clue who we are. No. They still play Save Yourself at 2 o'clock in the morning on Sundays. I'm like, it's going to be hard, guys. They're so excited. It's going to be the biggest crowd we've played for in years. I'm like, and it's going to be scary and horrible. And then a band called the 1975. I like to say 1979s, but I guess that's not it.
None of whom were alive in 1975.
No, which is this, like basically like a super handsome boy band with this like super handsome, like kind of Jacob meets, it's like Edward, like combined, but like a nonchalant, I don't give a fuck sort of English guy. And the 12-year-old tweens love him. And at noon, when the gates to the main place opened, 4,000 girls rushed in, and they didn't go to any of the other stages or anything like that. They went to the next gate, which would then open at 2 o'clock to allow them to get into the pit. And when that gate opened, 4,000 little girls rushed to the front of the stage, and we were second band?
Yeah.
Second band. And I was watching the first band, and literally the the crowd was just nothing but girls. So if you were, 22, it'd be like your wet dream. But as a 50-year-old, I'm like, this is gonna be fucking awful. And everyone was so excited, and then I get up and I start singing, and I'm like, I'm not your fucking geography teacher. I'm not, it was just awful. And they were just literally like, this creepy guy is looking at me. And they're just like, oh, you're still not the 1975. I'm like, they're not coming on till 10 o'clock at night. Are you really going to fucking stand there and ruin every band's day? And they did. Yes. They ruined every fucking band's day. It was
the alternative was not good either. I had a couple of those 16-year-old girls with low-cut shirts making eyes at me, and I was like, fucking stop it.
I didn't get that.
Put on a sweater and go home. Your parents are in the back. They're cheering for us because they remember us. There are the 3 people standing in the back row. To go back there and then just get out of here.
I saw like 4 or 5 brave Stabbing Westward fans standing up, and I ran into the audience and sang to them. But when you run into the audience with a wireless, as you get farther from the stage, you get farther from the music, so you get out of time. And it's like this weird delay thing, so you're singing but you're not hearing it for a second later, and then it's like it becomes this really hard to sing thing. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I really have to go back up there, because this is even worse than watching the Twilight premiere. So what was the question?
There.
Can you tell me about the song Dawn? Was that an outtake from one of the sessions for the album? Was that something you did specifically?
Apparently, I had been listening to Nirvana and didn't realize it, and was noodling on a guitar, and wrote just a dumb little riff that is clearly underneath the bridge by Nirvana. Is that what it's called? Something in the Way, or whatever.
Something in the Way.
And we just wrote a song, and I think it ended up being on we did a lot of soundtracks. So we constantly needed songs to be on soundtracks, so we would just write a bunch of spare songs, and that one got on Escape to LA, right? Are you coming to the acoustic thing?
I'm sorry?
Are you coming to the acoustic thing? We'll play it there.
Awesome.
Oh, Dracula was surprised. And by the way, it's not acoustic.
Wait, the acoustic set isn't acoustic?
It's not acoustic.
Oh, okay.
I will be the only acoustic instrument.
We've got time for one more question.
Why do men have nipples?
Yes. I don't know.
That wasn't my question.
I meant questions from them, guys.
Oh.
You in the back. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You're playing Philly tomorrow. Do you have any idea what time your set to go on? Because we're trying to.
Really?
Wow, really?
That's as much as possible.
I don't know. Let's check the internet. No, I have no idea.
That's not on there.
I don't know. We're supposed to be there at 3. How far is it?
2 hours.
2 hours. Yes, we'll probably leave it 2. Drive really fast. Huh?
Probably the last time you'll play there.
It's the last time we'll play there, and I think they're doing 2 more shows after that. It's sad. There's a lot of places like that closing. It's sad. Yeah, a lot of the great venues. Pretty soon we'll just set up webcams and you guys can just watch on your phone. It'll be like being there.
The other thing that's really sad about it is, and it's happening in a lot of cities, is big giant corporations are coming in and pushing out these independent concert promoters, and therefore places like that, and there's a bunch of places in Chicago that are going to end up going away because they can't compete against a company that can get a band in every market and get them from the ground floor and take them up to arenas, and that's a bad thing, I think.
Yeah, there have been a lot of small club closings in New York.
Yeah.
And it's just sad.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that means you're going to tour more so to keep them alive for the rest of them?
2 or more?
Yeah.
No, we're still just gonna do weekends. No, I'm not kidding. I got a call this morning. My kid was mad that I wasn't at karate class, so he just stood there pissed off, and his teacher got mad and took his belt away. And so I got this fucked up call from mom going, yeah, because you're at a goth convention, Gibby lost his belt. I'm like, I didn't tell him not to participate, and who the fuck takes a 5-year-old's karate belt? How mean is that? I mean, I punched the guy, but he's a black belt in karate, so clearly.
All right, well, thank you guys. Thank you, Stabbing Westward. We're going to break down so they can start setting up for the acoustic set. Great breakdown set up, but thank you guys for coming. Enjoy the rest of the con.
That's it for this episode of Crash Chords Autographs. Our theme music is by Michael Kill. Our logo was designed by Case Aiken and Joey Amons. If you liked the show, please rate and review us on iTunes and Facebook. You'll help us reach more listeners. Questions, comments, or guest recommendations? Email matt.storm@crashchords.com or hit us up on Twitter @CrashChordsWeb. Thanks for listening.
Hi, this is Victor Devon, and I am the host of We Burlesque, the podcast. Every Monday, I talk to fabulous denizens of nightlife, including burlesque performers, both seasoned and new to the form, drag performers, performance artists, DJs, and artists who make up their respective scenes. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. Please visit WeBurlesque.com to check out episode recaps and see all the formats available. And remember that music is life. Life is good.